I have never really made content of this nature before, but I've produced a lot of music, and I figured this is kind of like what I'm trying to do, somewhat seriously as a career, so might as well do a little bit of like the behind the scenes, the process, and see what comes out of it. So yeah, I'm going to put together an instrumental. Not entirely sure where it's going to go. I can tell you right off the bat, it's probably going to be somewhat simple. A lot of my musical influences are like Mac DeMarco, Home Shake, kind of that whole vein of late 20 teens, early 2020s, indie pop, indie rock. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so after a lot of technical difficulties with my quad cortex, we are back. I'm gonna record a guitar line. Wabam. Yeah, probably just gonna loop that. I'm almost hearing like The Sacred Souls. I think next I'm gonna do drums just to kind of set a vibe. Probably just something like that, pretty simple groove. Like that snare. That kick is a little much. A little too ringy. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's record that. 2, 3, 4. Add a little quantization in there. What a terrible sounding crash. Hopefully it works in context. Okay, time for bass guitar. I just remembered that I have this second scene set up in OBS so that you can see what I'm doing besides just my computer screen. And I totally forgot to use this while I was tracking guitar and drums, so I'm going to try and use it for the rest of the instruments. But in case I forget, you may not get that. Let's see if we can single take this. Okay, it needs organ. If it was daytime and not 11 p.m., I would mic up this organ I've got over here. You can kind of see it. Maybe. I can't tell. But that hoe is loud. So I'm just going to find probably a stock Logic organ sound. Don't judge, I'm not a keys player. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I'm a terrible keys player and this thing has a limited range. Something like that. I'm going to try this tape emulation. Because that sound is not as like crunchy and vintage as I want it to sound. I think what this actually needs is a spring reverb, but we'll come back to that in the mixing and effects portion. Okay, finally going to record the organ after a million years of playing with it. Kind of. I'm going to edit the MIDI and come back. Okay, after some fiddling, it needs some strings. This is the BBC Symphony Orchestra. It works. It's got a little too much like concert hall reverb for my personal taste in this style, but it'll work. Okay. This is what the strings sound like soloed. And in context. Quite nice, quite soothing. That might be good for like the hook section. I think from here it's just coming up with like a little verse progression and arrangement, and then obviously mixing it. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll catch y'all in a few when that's done. Okay, the arrangement's almost done. The mix is pretty alright. I'm just gonna add a guitar solo at the end, and we should be chilling. So here goes nothing. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. Here is the finished instrumental. I figured that if there was a vocalist on it, there would be a lot of stacked harmonies, and that would make it a little less boring, but keeping with the style of like that 60s, 70s soul, I think this is pretty good. I think that is going to do it. That went a totally different direction than I was anticipating, but it was still a lot of fun. Usually when I sit down to produce something, it takes a lot longer, but this one seemed to just kind of flow freely, which is cool. Let me know in the comments which artists and which styles I should try to emulate, and if I should do more of these production videos, or if you think this just sucked and it was boring. Either way, well, not either way, I guess if you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content, and if you really enjoyed it, feel free to hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with when I post. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate every single one of you guys. God bless.